Hello, my name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch. I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. If you hear a lot of rattling during this video, it's because we're having a very bad storm outside at the moment. It's rattling all the inner doors. We've got so many of them shut and they're still rattling. Anyway, today I'd like to talk to you about when criticism becomes a psychic attack. This was something that somebody brought up the other day, and it does happen. Sometimes people criticize you so much, it goes beyond just saying, look, I think you could do that better, or would you mind trying that again, or look, you forgot to do such and such. It goes beyond that. It goes to the stage where nothing you do is good enough. There is always someone who does it better, they say, or they could have done it better, or you're just doing it wrong. And sometimes it gets to the stage where it really does get to you. Is that a psychic attack? Well, it might be. It might be. There are attackers who do it this way. It's a way of driving you down. It's a way of making you lack confidence. It's a way of making your self-confidence and skill ooze out of you. Now, if you feel it's doing that, if you feel you can no longer do right, not just because someone is criticizing you, but because you feel that you have lost skill, you have lost confidence as a result of their criticism, then yes, I would say you are under psychic attack. It may not be a deliberate one. There are psychic attacks that are not deliberate. They just happen. They happen because of the nature of somebody. We'll go into that a bit later, or maybe on another video, I'm not sure. So what can you do about this? Well, what a lot of people will say to you is just take no notice. But that's easier said than done, particularly if it's in a situation where you and the person criticizing you are not of equal status. If it's a boss or a senior colleague or a teacher or a doctor or somebody who is of a higher status, who is really using this as a means of belittling you. Even so, whether they're aware of it or not, we are perfectly entitled to defend ourselves, and I think we should, for our own sanity's sake. So what I would recommend is that you build yourself some psychic armour. Now, I'm sure I've dealt with this somewhere else on one of these videos, but still. Basically, psychic armour is one which is defensive and one which is offensive. In other words, a sword and a shield. I don't recommend spears, because once you've thrown a spear, you have nothing. Sword you keep in your hand. A dagger, no, because you have to get too close. We don't want to get too close to someone who's intent on harming us. But basically, the most important in this is the shield. And you construct this shield mentally. You imagine it. You visualize it. You find a picture of a shield in a book or a magazine or on the internet, and you think, oh, that's the shield I'd like to have. And mentally you must envisage it. You must bring it about in your mind. And what I mean by that is not that you're trying to make it actually visible to everybody else. I mean that you're trying to make it so that whenever you need to call it to mind, you can imagine exactly what it's like. You know what it feels like to carry it. You know what its weight is. You know how you hold it. There'll be a strap at the back, or maybe two straps if it's a big shield. And the idea is that whenever this person who's criticizing you comes into view, you immediately visualize this shield and you put it between you and them. And whenever they speak, if they're critical or not, their words will bounce off the shield. Some people even imagine the shield producing sparks when something bounces off it, which is very effective, very impressive when you think about it. You know, somebody says, oh, you've done this wrong, and you're imagining sparks. And they can't reach you, you imagine, because you've got the shield up. And imagine it well, and imagine it repeatedly. Keep at it. This is the thing. People will often try it once or twice, and if it doesn't work well enough or doesn't work at all, they will then say, oh, well, it's no good, it doesn't work. But actually, you have to keep at it. It's a bit like learning to play a musical instrument. You will not play wonderfully after 2 or 3 lessons. You may not play wonderfully after 20 or 30 or even 200. But if you want to play, you keep at it, you keep practicing, and eventually you do get better. And it's the same with any form of psychic self-defense. You have to keep at it. You have to keep trying. So with your shield, you keep imagining it. And it's surprising, actually, when you do. Not only do you feel better, but the other person notices. Now, they can't see your shield. You certainly don't tell anybody about it. This is between you and your mind, if you like, your imagination, your visualization. This is yours alone. Don't tell anybody else. You certainly don't show anybody else a picture of what you're visualizing. You just get on with it. And it's surprising how the other person, the psychic attacker, if you like, or the person criticizing you, will start to notice there's a difference. His words are not reaching you. And often they sort of back away. And it's almost as though they're standing there thinking, what's going on? What's happening? It's not affecting her. So it's worth a try. Trust me, it works. I've suggested this to an awful lot of people, and they have found it helpful. You really have to stick at it, but oh, it helps. So anyway, give it a go. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.